scary story time. This story is called The Soul Eater by Lito Versosa. Halloween is upon us again, and everywhere stories abound about how close encounters of the frightening kind. And just as everybody has a scary story to tell, what I'm about to describe actually happened in a small fishing village in East Samar. It all started ironically when an old man was dying on his bed, and not even the doctors knew how long he would last. I know this because the old man was my grandfather, who fought stubbornly to stay alive until the end. My lolo, grandfather, a lawyer, was a charitable man who helped poor people with their legal problems. So when my family would set up a vigil, many people came to pay their respects, including the local Mangahihilo. Alingsia, according to the barrio folklore, was rumored to have the power to see what ordinary people could not see. As he was about to ascend our steps towards the balcony, he noticed a big black pig under the house. When she was greeted by my mother, she asked if we were keeping a pig under the house, and was visibly alarmed when my mother told her we were not. "Aswang," she uttered in an audible whisper. At that, several able-bodied men leapt into action, scampering down the stairs to the silong to try and catch the animal. And when they got there, they found nothing, only an old Buri hat belonging to a newcomer in the village. The newcomer had just arrived recently, coincidentally just as my lolo's condition took a turn for the worse, and set up residence near the perimeter of the barrio, in a forest beside the cemetery. Neither this man nor his two teenage sons talked about anybody in the village, and they dressed in the same clothes when they arrived and admitted an indescribable stench. One of the barrio women, Manang Tining, was the first to come across the strange family, and she was on her way to the cemetery one afternoon and decided to use a shortcut through the wooded area. And when she came upon a hut with no windows in the middle of the clearing, deciding to investigate, she stepped closer and noticed an old man wearing an old Buri hat, perched on a bamboo bench, as well as two teenage boys sitting upon a door of the cottage. "Upay, good afternoon. How long have you been here?" she greeted with the strange trio. "My name is Tining, because that's what they say my voice is, tiny. What's yours?" The old man hissed something unintelligible as he slowly tilted his chin. Then when she saw his eyes, which were shielded by the hat, they were bloody red. Unnerved, Manang Tining quickly excused herself and went home post-haste, only later remembering the sound he made, like a lion's purr. Thus, the villagers began calling him Mang Puroy. After that sound, no one else made contact with the strange family. The villagers avoided them, thinking that they were a family of aswangs or soul eaters. At any rate, the village had all forgotten about Mang Puroy and his family, and by the time my grandfather laid on his deathbed, and at that point, it was simply a matter of time. My lolo's diabetes already out of control, and doctors said it was only matters of days before his body's defenses caved in. Speculations ran among the village's people that Mang Puroy had smelled ebbing life essence of my grandfather and came to pay his last respects under the bed. For soul eaters can smell the spirits of the weak, like the lingering smell of ripe fruit. They feed on these souls, which sustains their existence for hundreds of years. The villagers' suspicions were apparently confirmed when they discovered that the hat had and decided to do something about it. They turned to the village Abulario for help. So an Abulario is like a shaman or a faith healer or a witch doctor. Mang Inyo came on the second night of the vigil. After making a routine check of the whole area underneath the floor, he went up and again carrying a pail full of sand. He poured a line of sand parallel to my lolo's bedroom door. Then he started again from the middle of the first line and drew another, leading out to the main door, as if shooing something out the door. Outside the main door, he formed a circle with the sand, and then he poured another mound in the center. He then asked for a knife and plunged it in the middle of the mound. All of a sudden, everyone heard a loud guttural cry, not unlike of that of a pig, but more hollow and sinister. Someone later claimed to have espied a figure, a pig, running away from the house. As it ran, it slowly transformed itself into a man, staggering as if it was hurting from a mortal wound. The man looked very much like Mang Puro. My grandfather lapsed into a coma immediately after that. The next day, Mang Puroy's sons were pulling a cart with the coffin and throwing hateful glances at our house, and before they could get far, the biggest of the two shouted, "Gaganti kami," meaning, well, kind of like saying, like, we'll get revenge, or, you'll get what's coming to you. Mang Inyo, who was standing at the balcony at the time, said, "We gotta plan ahead." He called Uncle Sony, the son of the Lolo, aside. Nobody heard what they talked about, but it was the last time Mang Inyo was seen alive. And later that night, some neighbors reportedly heard a scuffle going up Mang Inyo's house. When he didn't come out to feed his chickens the next day, his friend Mang Nano went into the house to look for him. There he was horrified to see Mang Ijo dead from several claw-like slashes. 2 days later, my grandfather died in his sleep. We thought that was the end of the strange going-ons. We were wrong. 2 weeks later, my Lolo's cousin, Mama Rita, also passed away due to complications arising from her diabetes. We didn't find anything wrong with it at first, but as the bodies lay on the embalmer's table, blood suddenly spurted out of the 2 holes found on her neck. And apparently, Mama Rita had been left unattended when her husband went to go fetch the priest. Upon hearing this, Uncle Sonny immediately went to my grandfather's cabinet and retrieved something in a bag. After he went to Mang Ijo's house and got something from there too, then he went running in the direction of the wooded area near the cemetery. Hours later, he came back, blood all over his body, although he suffered no injury. Uncle Sonny couldn't talk about his ordeal, but the curious who decided to check the forest reported seeing 2 scarecrows dressed like my Lolo and Mang Ijo. Later, we learned from Alingsha that when Mang Ijo took Uncle Sonny beside Lolo, he had asked my grandfather to join him battling the remaining Aswangs after their death. Uncle Sonny would force a confrontation by making the 2 scarecrows facing east and west of the evil house. These scarecrows stored the sunlight into the night and burned the remaining Aswang as they turned into the beasts at the witching hour. After this, there were no more strange incidents in the village.